Hey folks, how you doing today? Got a project going on here. Show you what I'm going. My boot up here has got a leak in it right up here by the band. I don't want to let the water and stuff get into that and it'll ruin that stuff. So I gotta tear it out of the part. I had to wait a while because I had to order the parts, and then I had to order a special tool because I have this weird banding strap thing on there that you had to have a special tool that does a banding. So I got it all now, and I'm working on the steps. First step was taking the tires off, and then I had loosened the nut on the shock here, and then also on this part of the swing arm here. And now I'll take out this bolt here, but I have to figure out what I got to do with this brake line, because all the videos I ever watched never shows them doing this side with the brake line on it. So kind of worried about putting too much pressure on that, but we'll see. Get some more footage shortly. Leak right up there, you can see. I've taken that bolt out so far and this bolt out, and it also says to take that one out too. So that's gonna be the pain because you got a brake line there, comes all the way through here, and I don't know how much. I gotta pull this cap off and pull that stuff out there too, so I can pull all this off, pull the hub off. Then this whole thing is gonna come out so I can get to this. It's a process. Here's one other thing you have to unhook. This is part of the guard that's connected to that. So now, and you can see it runs around here, around to the axle part. So you have to separate it from here when you loosen it up, because you're going to pull this out. I still got to get to that, but I'm still trying to figure out what to do with these brake lines. That one has a hex in it, but this one looks, it's just a circle. So I don't know if that just pops out of there, what happens. I'll keep it up, see what happens. All right, so far I had to go to this side and hook the shock here and this bit of suspension here, and I'm trying to loosen up the bolt for that shaft back there, and that is a pain in the rear end. I got the rear brake hub and stuff off on that side, and that's the side I have to fix. I don't know if I have to take this whole hub and stuff off too. Probably gonna have to, because this all has to drop down, and that's not gonna pull out of there with that on it. So it becomes a huge job for a simple, stupid little thing. You'd think they'd make another way to be able to replace these boots than have to tear all this apart just to do that. But that's what it is. I'm trying to use some leverage on that thing right now, but still ain't budging. We'll see what happens. Okay, I was able to get that shaft out of there. This is all free and moving now. There it is, right there. So now I still got to figure out how to get all this. I don't know if I need to completely unhook this brake here, or is that gonna stay on there and allow me to soften? This has to come out. This has to come out of here. Then I gotta pull that out this way. See what we can do. Well, I was able to get it off of there. That's where it goes in. There's the shaft right here. Right there, you can see the grease coming out of that. The slice right at the friggin' edge of that stupid band. So I gotta take that all off just because of that. There's the front one. That one seems to be all right. Just that grease right in there. Just don't want water. You don't want to get water in there because you'll ruin everything. So now I'll take that off and try and put this thing all back together. I had to get that cocked out of there sideways just to be able to get this shaft out of there. That's gonna be fun getting that all back into position. But we're getting it. We got that shaft apart. I put the new boot starter back on. Cleaned it all out inside there. See that shaft? This is not gonna focus. Got a pouch of grease. You gotta put all the grease back inside of here. Then connect those back together, the shaft, and then commence to putting it all back together. And make sure you put grease around that seal there. Any of these rubber seals, I put a little layer of grease on that side and then the back side here. They say you should never put a dry seal on there, so we'll always have a little bit of grease or something on it when it meets up to the shaft. So once that drying stuff out, well, I gotta put the grease in. I got that back in. I just loaded this all up with grease inside here. With the grease. Now I just gotta put these clamps back on. You have to have this special tool I had to purchase, because I didn't own one. So it's a, I'll show you right here. It's a CV joint clamp banding tool. It's supposed to tighten up the band with this thing here, and I think this cuts it. I'm not quite sure, honestly. But I'll take that out and commence doing that. I can put it all back together over here. I didn't really need to take that hub and stuff off. That's right there on the other side. I thought I may have to, but I didn't. So I'll have to put that back on too. Try and clean up everything a little bit too before I put it back together. Well, I'm having some issues here trying to get that center pin that holds all the suspension in, because there's one small gap, then you get a large gap, then you get a medium gap, then you get another gap. So you got to try and weasel it all the way through all of those different circles to get it all the way in. Just trying to do it with one person is almost impossible. So I might have to wait for my brother or somebody to come home, or maybe I'll get my nephew to try and help. Just got to kind of wiggle and jiggle everything and try and tap that forward to get it to fit each next section. It's a pain in the ass, let me tell you. But we'll see what we do. Well, I got that all taken care of. Just got it all back together. And we'll take it for a little ride and see how it goes. I'll show you what I got done there. There's the rear wheels back on. Right there's the boot I had to fix. It's all back together. Everything's all put back together. That was a fun job. Yeah. Let's see how she goes now. Hey folks, next day, since I got that CV boot put back in, I just took a little ride out in the trail here, about a mile down the trail. It's right across the house. It's not an ATV. Stay off the road trail. It's just old skidder road. I'm gonna check that CV boot and see how it's doing. Well, there it is. Seems to be doing all right. Band's on that tight. This was the one that had a slice in it. It's doing good. The other ones are all okay. I don't see anything. That was a true pain in the rear end to replace that. A lot of work to do a simple thing. You think that they would make some kind of a thing that was separated in half and could attach itself and then just clamp them on that way instead of having to take all this all apart. It's a true pain in the rear end. But it's doing all right now. I didn't realize after doing all this, I didn't realize I had grease fittings. I got a grease fitting here, one over there. I should probably put some grease in those things. See if my brother's got a grease gun when I get back. But yeah, I cleaned it up a little bit under there, but it's doing good. Ain't making any noises or any clunking sounds or anything, so I guess I put everything back together all right. Well, that wasn't the funnest thing I've ever done, that's for sure. Taking that CV boot out and replacing it. But with these days, with the prices of everything, I can't afford to take them places and have something. They're going to charge $200, $250 at least to do that. And, you know, just a half a day's work for me and it was done. and it probably would have been a lot less time, you know, if I had done it a few times and knew what I was doing. I stopped and watched a video on it again, just to refresh my memory, and just made sure I was doing everything right. So it was a little slow. And then I did my oil change for my truck too. They charge you $50-$60 for that nowadays, and bought an oil for what, $21, and a filter for $6. $27 is better than 50 or 60. So, and then I just realized when I'm doing my oil changes, it's good to get underneath your vehicle and look at, you know, see what the rust is, or what, if there's anything leaking. You just kind of, something we've got away from, just having everybody else do everything for us and not paying attention to that stuff. Now I look under there, I see, you know, I got to keep an eye on that, and I want to do some work on the frame and stuff with some rust. Take a steel, or yeah, not a steel wool, but a wire brush to the frame a little bit, and get some of the old rust off of there, and try and undercoat it with something. But, you know, when you don't do that stuff, you don't do your own maintenance, you don't see that stuff that needs to be done, which will help you preserve and prolong what you have. If you don't see that stuff, you just go, you know, Prompto or wherever to get your oil changed, and you just don't see that stuff. You don't realize it's even happening. So I'm making a note to myself. I'm going to start changing my oil. I did the oil change in this four-wheeler too, and that was a process, and I probably do that. I don't know, I might do that in the fall again. Just got to keep up the maintenance, and it helps pay attention to what's going on. Again, like I said, it's the money. Everything costs so much money nowadays. Appreciate y'all watching, and hopefully I'll get some more out for you soon.